Welcome back, y'all. This is the Bluechip Breakdown, and I'm your host, Bull. Today, I just want to talk about Tennessee's offense because there's been so much speculation on have other teams started to figure out how to stop this offense. If you look over the past couple of games, I would say, yeah, the offense has been very stagnant. So teams are starting to figure it out. The good news is we can make some changes and get it back going. We still have plenty of talent. We still have a really, good coaching staff. I trust them to get things changed and for the offense to look different this weekend versus Florida. Okay, so fully trust them. I'm not jumping off of the ship by any means. I know some people are, and y'all gonna be sorry whenever things look a whole lot better coming up this weekend. Do not be a fair weather fan. But in this one, we're just gonna have a little bit of fun with it and act like Coach Heupel is asking us for our input on some things that we would like to see changed. Please leave yours down in the comments section. As always, please do us a very big favor. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. I know we say that before every single video, but it really does help us out tremendously. Also, thank you to everyone that is supporting this channel by being a member. If you would also like to support what we do, then you can click on the join button just below. You will get exclusive access to our film sessions. You can also support by scanning the Cash App QR code wherever it is on the screen with your smartphone and donating as little as $1. If you are watching from your smartphone, all of the links will be down in the description below, and we would love to get more social media following. So everything else, just as far as, all of our social media stuff, that's also going to be down below. Please give us a follow. And later on tonight, probably between 7 to 8 p.m., Timmy G and I will be going live for our midweek chat, just kind of talking about Florida versus Tennessee. Everybody is welcome from any fan base. Doesn't matter. We're going to try to get to everyone's thoughts, concerns, and questions. Main focus is going to be on the chat, so we do hope that you will be joining us. With all that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the video. All right, so the first thing that I would like to see changed would be to run less tempo because it's not doing us any favors right now. I think it's actually causing more harm than good. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with this because I see it everywhere. Where's the tempo at? Tennessee needs to run a lot more tempo, but you can't run tempo whenever your offense is not being productive, whenever it's not clicking, and our offense is doing none of those things. So all we're going to do is hurry up and get off the field, and nobody wants that. So within our tempo, the offensive line isn't in tempo shape. We know that John Campbell all season has been kind of battling through some pain, and he's been on a pitch count in practice, and really most of the offensive line has. If you look at Lance Hurd, he kind of came into the season close to being in game shape, but then he misses a couple of weeks, comes back, he's nowhere near being in any sort of shape at all. And, I think that the same thing can be said, again, for a lot of the offensive line. They just do not look like they are in good enough shape. They don't look like, even outside of being in shape, like just their fundamentals don't look good. They need more reps. And I understand why the staff has been trying to limit people and had them on pitch counts and things like that, because we've looked at this season as an opportunity to make it to the playoffs. And, it's a really, really long season that way. And you want to try to minimize as much wear and tear on all of your players as you can, but especially with those bigger guys. At this point, man, we've lost a game that we are not supposed to lose. So all that stuff goes out the window. It's a playoff game every single week. If we lose one more game, we ain't going to make it to the playoffs, okay? Probably not. So we've got to look at it that way. Players need to just get in every single rep that they possibly can, whether that's just to make them better at their fundamentals or to get them in shape. So until Tennessee's offensive line does get in tempo shape, we only need to run tempo, I would say, maybe 1 or 2 series every game, and you can ramp it up as they start to get into better and better shape, not just with the offensive line, but also we had to kind of, let our wide receivers take some breaks. And, I'm not talking about getting off the field taking breaks. I'm talking about they're on the field. One half of the field is wide receivers aren't doing anything. And, I've even seen Nico getting into just a regular 3-step drop, not even rolling out to the side where the wide receivers are actually doing something. And they're all covered up because there's only 2 of them. And then the offensive line can't block well because, they haven't gotten many reps. So their fundamentals look bad and they're probably exhausted at this point. So I feel really bad for Nico. We need to be able to utilize everybody that's on the field. If you're out there, you should be doing something. We can run a lot better, route combinations if we have 4 or, 3 or 4 guys going just instead of one half, of our field going. And then, oh, by the way, we also have several people who want to get on the field who can't get on the field because we're not subbing because we're trying to go tempo. We need to sub in a whole lot more people. There's too many guys on this team that can play that we just have not seen, not just from the wide receivers, but with our running backs, with our tight ends, even with our offensive line. Let's rotate in more guys, get some more depth, and keep everybody happy, keep everybody focused. I think that the tempo thing, for right now, it needs to slow down tremendously. Really, the whole tempo thing, it's kind of a gimmick. You only run tempo or you don't only run it. But the main reason I think Heupel's offense runs this tempo as much as they do is to be able to beat teams with more talent. At this point, Tennessee's roster is just as talented as anybody, especially with our starters, but we can't play like it because we're out of shape and, just everything else. let's line up, let's beat these teams. Let's, get everybody on the same page. Let's just line up and beat them. We don't need the tempo as much as we have in years past. Number two for me is the offensive line has looked really bad pass blocking in the RPO game. So RPO is just run pass option. The offensive line is going to be kind of in between run blocking and pass blocking. They're not doing a very good job of that. Okay. So we either need to get that fixed by getting them more reps in practice or by, kind of fixing some things that they're doing wrong, or we need to run it a whole lot less. Actually they look pretty solid, for the most part, whenever it's just a regular pass drop. Okay. They do a much better job there than they do in that RPO game. So I think that we need to implement a little bit more of that. Now, RPOs is something that every team pretty much in the entire country will run. Tennessee just runs it more than most. I think that we can definitely afford to dial it back some. Maybe if we even let's just say, if we run it, maybe 5 or 6 times less than we normally do every game, that's enough. I think that would be enough for us to get our offense clicking and to get it back going. Outside of that, okay, at number 3 for me is going to be about our quick game. And I'm talking about, kind of throwing the football down the field with our quick game, because at this point, it's just too much of those quick screens where the ball either goes to a wide receiver, tight end, or a running back at the line of scrimmage or behind it. Let's run some more slants, some more hitches, speed outs, things like that down the field. There's actually a direct correlation in Tennessee's offensive success this season with how many times that we've run that type of quick game versus just, regular screens and things like that. So it makes us a lot more successful. The offense is a lot more productive whenever we do that. But it's not just with the basic quick game. It's also going to be with, and this is actually pretty concerning for me, I've seen too many times, it's not all the time, but it's too many for me, that every single wide receiver, every single, passing threat is going down the field and Nico has no checkdowns. We all know that is an absolute and total nightmare. And how does that happen? Or I've also seen it flipped where everyone's going short and there's no one deep. That makes a whole lot more sense, but it's a problem whenever everyone's going deep and Nico has no checkdowns. That's got to get fixed. Okay. We've got to start to run some, again, better route combinations, give Nico some more options so that he can kind of go through his reads, because whenever it's just, hey, 1 or 2 reads, or, if this route is covered up, everything is done. That is very hard on a quarterback. We're not putting him in a position to succeed. Also, we need some hot routes. We've seen several times where the defense is bringing more people on blitzes than Tennessee can block. And everyone, all the passing threats are just running down the field. They don't even turn around. That's got to get switched. I don't know how the hell that happens, but that needs to be changed immediately. So I would guarantee that will be something that will be implemented this weekend, or that's going to be a very, very major problem. And number 4 for me is going to be to condense our splits. So this is just kind of going back to that quick game. Whenever we're talking about slants, hitches, quick outs, those plays are really only designed to get 5 to 10 yards. The thing about it is, with our wide splits, Nico's having to throw the ball 25, 30 yards just to get that, 5 to 10 yards. Well, if we can condense our splits, we can run the exact same plays, and now it's a much easier throw. It's only, 7 to 10 or 15 yards, which is, obviously that's going to be a whole lot safer. The ball doesn't have to travel as far. It gets to the wide receiver or tight end, whoever, much quicker. And hey, man, if we can run the correct route combinations, they'll even have some time to get up the field and, get us some extra yards. So just, some of those things right there, I think is kind of common sense. And I definitely feel like, obviously Tennessee has run some of this stuff before, not as much with these tighter splits, but that's something that if we want to be able to win a championship, we can't always just have wide splits. They need to kind of get bunched up every now and then. It would also give us, a much better opportunity to run some different stuff and not be as, easy to kind of game plan for, as I think that we have been with those really, really wide splits. So on to number 5, Tennessee needs to run a lot more outside zone. So mostly what Tennessee is doing is inside zone. All an inside zone means is that we're running right up the middle of the defense. Okay. And of course, again, back to those splits, that seems like that would be the most common sense place to run the football to. Okay. So, and that's why we do it. We just try to get downhill as quick as possible, get, 3 to 4 yards just to kind of keep those chains moving. But at this point, it's not working as well for a plethora of different reasons. Offensive line is tired, so they're not getting the push. People can figure things out. The safeties, like we kind of touched on, are coming downhill. Either safeties or the secondary players are able to just come unblocked and make tackles close to the line of scrimmage. It's just too easy. If we can run some more outside zone, which we've only run 6 to 7 times this entire season, and almost every single time it's been there, right? Especially versus 3-3-5s. There's been some huge lanes. So if we can run that more, it at least will keep the defense honest. And I think that we run it very, very well. We've got running backs that fit that well. We've got an offensive line that fits that scheme well. I mean, it's looked very, very pretty, every time that we have run it. So I think that that's something that Coach Heupel is going to run a little bit more of, at least hopefully moving forward. Now, the last thing at number 6 is going to be to free Nico, right? Every team that faces us, they're first going to be thinking about Nico because he is a game breaker, man. I mean, he's 6'6", 220 pounds. He can run. He can make all the throws inside the pocket and on the move. Roll him out some more, man. Like, let him kind of get going with his legs. Use some more of those read options. You know what I'm saying? Like, let him keep the football more. And let's also just run some, quarterback runs, whether it's a quarterback draw or quarterback power versus those lighter boxes where, a defense typically will only have like 5 people in there to try to stop Tennessee's run inside of the box. Well, we've got 5 offensive linemen. We've got 1 running back. Now, all of a sudden, we've got 6 blocking 5. If we could add a tight end there, now we've got 7 blocking 5. And then we've got Nico running behind all of that. Why have we not been doing more of that? I think because we're scared to get Nico hurt. We also need to let him take some more shots down the field. We need to just get a lot more creative with all of that stuff, man. Open things up. Let's start to have some fun. Let's stop being so scared. Let's stop worrying about how the team is going to end up looking, at the end of the season. Let's go out every single game like it's the last game that we're going to play. And if Tennessee does that this whole season, Tennessee blows everybody out. Like, it's not even going to be close. Even Arkansas. And I know that the Arkansas fans are going to, maybe chuckle at that. And I'm hoping that y'all went out so that we can see y'all in the playoffs, because if we do, we're going to beat the brakes off of y'all. But either way, y'all, those are my thoughts. Please let me know yours down in the comment section. We hope to see everybody later on tonight for the midweek chat. Thank you so much for sticking all the way to the end. Please make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share with your friends, family, and other volunteer fans. We'll see y'all on the next one. Thanks. Peace.